So really, have more of those connections, the better. And one way to do that is really just go out and do it and execute.
Yeah. So one thing we talked about a couple of days ago is like the brain development of boys and girls, right?
Hmm.
Like I think the boys' brain doesn't develop till the 25, girls 21, and all through elementary is like different brain development, right? But yet we put them together. Now I'm not saying that boys and girls be taught differently. I mean, I taught separate. I'm not saying that, but like schools never take that into account, right? Like how girls are so much more developed than boys at early age, right?
Yeah. I think that's a great point. And also there are a lot of, I guess, from a conclusion aspect, the the way how schools group students are fundamentally wrong by both age and by geographic locations. And it's more than really boys girls brain develop differently, and also each person are different. Like I just turned 18, and someone else just turned 18, and maybe I'm radically
Let's scale up
different.
just a little bit more.
Yeah, and maybe we are in the same age, but we're radically different. But also, you have people like the six core teams, the six engineer of Doge are all under 20 or under 25 years old, and and how they think is radically different from the other 25 years old. But I guess the conclusion is in the future of education, that in my vision, in our vision, how students will develop, how students will group is not based on gender, not based on age, not based on location, but really based on competency, passion, and which stage of life they're in.
Yeah, I mean, since the beginning of school, probably like I'll make this up. Like you have 30 people in a classroom, regardless of what grade, and like it's not like the teachers, like you're the top two, they pay real attention to them because like top notch students.
Hmm.
Then the bottom two, they pay attention to them because they're disrupting the class, they're like bad behavior. But then the 26 in between, they're like okay, that's okay. You got to see you're good enough, right? It's like they spend 90% of the time on these top one and bottom one, and the middle is like nothing,
Yeah,
right?
and yeah, there are a lot of criticism in traditional education. There are a lot of educators realizing that too, and they're kind of saying, it's the worst. Because in public education system, the score, even though we judge it based on like the MAP score, based on the measures that traditional educators take, it's by no way better. It's by no way good or average. It's horrible. Actually, it's abysmal, even by traditional measures. And from a lot of educators I met or on Twitter, they are saying a lot of reason is because the bottom 5% of the students in the whole class, they kind of ruin the learning experience of the whole class. And there are also, and that kind of tied back to the brain development you were talking about. It's just it just yeah, it's just the trend of traditional classroom, and it does make sense.